Our new book is available to pre-order. By pre-ordering, it really does help get it out there. It helps encourage people to eat more plant-based foods, which the environment needs, and it helps reduce food waste, which is one of the leading causes of climate change. Link down below to pre-order. Cheers! Welcome to the best vegan pate ever. Okay, growing up, I used to love pate. It was something that my mom would get, it, spread it in bread, and we'd annihilate it. And I haven't had it for years, almost 20 years. And this recipe came out as a result of a failed trial, and it didn't end up what we were hoping to make, an incredible terrine, but it ended up literally being the best vegan pate ever. And often we found in life, often out of a failure or mistake, something amazing can come out of it. So anyway, today we're going to share with you the recipe, one of the best vegan pates you will ever make, and it's actually pretty straightforward to make. What we're going to be doing is we're making the basis of a tofu from scratch, but we're making one of the most flavorful tofus you could possibly imagine. So into a saucepan, I have 1 liter of soy milk. Try to use organic if you can get it, just better quality ingredients, and you're supporting better farming practices. Into that, I have 2 tablespoons of my beloved tamari. You could use soy sauce if you've done it. And if it's 3 tablespoons, that's all right. No one will know. I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I finely chopped. Really do dice them nice and fine. Next, I have a microplane zester, or grater if you want to call it. And I got 20 grams of fresh ginger. Just make sure to give it a peel if it's not organic. And just the reason why we're grating it is just because the particle size is going to be smaller. If you don't have a microplane, just chop it nice and finely as you can chop it. So last and final thing, we have a pinch of chili. Choose, if you don't like chili, obviously leave it out. If you do like it, go with a little bit. I'm going with a fancy Korean gochugaru. So we're gonna put this on high heat, and we're gonna bring it up to just short of the boil. So probably around 70, 80 degrees Celsius if we're being particular, but just shy of boiling temperature. Okay, once our soy milk has come up to almost boiling, like you'll be able to touch your knuckle in and it'll feel really hot. That's the main metric I use. We're gonna put in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, so approximately half a lemon juice, juiced with no seeds, and in that goes. So this will actively start to curdle it. So I've turned it off the heat now. I'm just gonna mix this through. So you'll notice it's starting to curdle and starting to kind of look a bit less desirable to consume. It used to look like a mocha. I was joking with Shawnee here, but now it's starting to look like a bitty mocha. Okay, so it's starting to curdle. Now what you're going to use is a bit of cheesecloth, also known as muslin. So I've got a large bowl here, I've got a sieve, and I've got some cheesecloth. So what's going to happen here is we're going to separate the curds and the whey. So we want to catch all the curds. In it goes. So we've got it all in. Once we've got it all in, just slowly bring the sides in, and we're going to start the milking process. The key to pate is to milk it. Okay, if you're someone that's quite heat sensitive, just wear gloves. From years of working in the kitchen, my hands are pretty resilient to heat. Okay, so just fold your muslin over and just take something that's heavy just to go on top of it. And what that's gonna do is just gonna simply weigh it down and encourage more moisture to come out while we do our next step. Okay, next step, to infuse it. Traditionally in a pate, there would be liver chunks through it, or smoothened liver. So what we're gonna take is we're taking oyster mushrooms, and we're gonna mimic that by making an incredibly delicious sauce. So I've got 200 grams of mushrooms. I'm gonna chop them nice and finely, just so that there's no chunks. Okay, for our sauce, to make these mushrooms just bang full of flavor, I have 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, also known as tomato concentrate. I have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of ginger powder. And finally, 2 tablespoons of tamari. So while I'm mixing that, I'm just gonna turn this beautiful non-stick pan on high heat. So whatever pan you have, ideally it's a wide bottom non-stick pan like this. Okay, once it starts getting nice and warm, we're gonna go in with about half a tablespoon of oil. Okay, in go our 200 grams of oyster mushrooms. Okay, once the mushrooms have started to brown, we're gonna turn it off the heat. There's still residual heat in the pan. I'm just gonna add this sauce. So let's add all this sauce and just mix it through. Okay, once it's all spread through, you'll see a bit of moisture evaporating, so it's just gonna be more concentrated. And I'm just gonna put the mushrooms back in the bowl. Okay, mushrooms are cooked. Time to get back our beautiful infused soya tofu. Okay, let's give it just one final squeeze. You see there's very little left in it in terms of moisture. It's worth taking your time with this part because the more you squeeze it here, the kind of less work it has to do later. It will actually save you time further down the road. Okay, I'm gonna open it out and just give it a tiny little rinse, which might seem counterintuitive, but what we're trying to do here is we're trying to rinse off a little bit. It's slightly bitter on the outside. So just make sure the water's cold and just give it a nice rinse. Oh. Okay, time to take our mushrooms. So we're gonna take this out and we're gonna just pour it into our mushrooms. This might seem like a lot of steps, but you'll be surprised when you do make it how straightforward it is. So I'm just gonna mix this through into our mushrooms. So you can shape it or mold it in whatever way you want. Many places they like to have it as one big long terrine where you can use a 1 pound loaf tin. Alternatively, we prefer to use just simple ramekins and just stuff them in. They make it easier to share and just kind of goes great. Okay, we always love to serve this as a platter. So I'm taking a nice bit on some toast. I just think it's such an indulgent treat. And here we go, pate, my dear friend from childhood. I got so much flavor, it really does. It's so like the same, like exactly like the way I remember as a child. Like, it's delicious, it's magnificent, it's wonderful. So this is a beautiful recipe. It literally took 20 minutes from start to finish, and it's much healthier than traditional pate, and yet still delivers in flavor, in texture, in taste. So well worth making, great for any festive, great for any just spread like this. I think it's wonderful. Anyway, thank you for watching this vid. And as you might have seen at the start, we do have a new book out available to pre-order. It really does help. We believe it's our best book yet. What we've taken is the 10 most popular veg in Ireland and the UK and worldwide. We're cooking them 10 ways with 10 ingredients or less. And the goal of the book is to help people minimize waste, because waste is one of the leading causes of climate change. 1/3 of all food produced, cooked, eaten is waste. Anyway, thanks for watching. Wishing you a good day. Lots of love. Bye!